In 1960, when the whole world was focused on America's Apollo missions, something terrifying was happening on our neighboring planet Venus. The Soviet Union, Russia, had planned what could be called a suicide mission to Venus. After spending billions of dollars and years of hard work, they built a probe that would, for the first time in history, land on another planet and capture its images. But on Venus, the Russian probes encountered a hellish nightmare that shocked Soviet scientists. Today, we'll explore those suicide missions to Venus that revealed the planet's horrifying secrets, and how a small camera lens cap wasted years of effort and billions of dollars. Why, despite today's advanced technology, has Russia never returned there? In the 1960s and 70s, the Cold War was at its peak. The competition between the United States and the Soviet Union was about who would become the king of space. Both nations wanted to prove their power and capability to the world. America focused entirely on the moon. The Soviet Union had already achieved partial success by landing probes on the moon. But U.S. President John F. Kennedy had publicly promised that before 1970, America would land a man on the moon, a bold claim that eventually led to the Apollo program. When the Soviets realized that America might actually reach the moon, they shifted their focus to Venus. Their goal was clear. If America could step on the moon, Russia would step into hell. At the time, scientists believed Venus and Earth were very similar. They are neighboring planets, nearly the same size, and at somewhat comparable distances from the Sun. However, one obvious difference was that Venus was completely covered by thick clouds. No one knew what lay beneath those clouds. Even scientists considered it a mystery box. The Soviets believed that while the moon could be observed with telescopes, showing the world what lay beneath Venus's clouds would be an even greater achievement. If they discovered oceans, forests, or even alien life, it would be a clear Soviet victory. They planned not 1 or 2, but 18 missions to Venus. The probe they designed was named Venera, Venus in Russian. Scientists knew that Venus had an atmosphere because of its thick clouds and proximity to the Sun. But they had no idea how dense it was compared to Earth's atmosphere. So they designed Venera to withstand high atmospheric pressure. During the space race, the Soviets kept their missions secret until they succeeded, to avoid public embarrassment in case of failure. On February 4, 1961, the Soviet Union launched its first probe toward Venus, but it failed to leave Earth's orbit. Following their policy, they did not reveal the failure and instead described it as a heavy satellite launch. They also had another policy. For each mission, they built 2 probes so that if one failed, the other might succeed. Thus came Venera 1 and Venera 2. Their goal was only a flyby mission, passing near Venus and collecting data. On February 12, 1961, Venera 1 was launched. It was the first probe in history sent toward another planet. However, just 7 days after launch, communication was lost. It passed about 100,000 km from Venus, but sent back no data. It is still orbiting the Sun today. 4 years later, on November 12, 1965, Venera 2 was launched. It suffered the same fate, losing contact after leaving Earth's orbit. In the 1960s, the Soviets attempted several more missions that failed so badly they were never even given the Venera name. These are known in space history as ghost missions. In 1966 came Venera 3 and 4. These were larger, more powerful probes weighing about 1 ton. Each had 2 parts: a bus to carry the probe to the outer atmosphere and a spherical lander equipped with sensors, a pressure sensor barometer, gas analyzer, thermometer, batteries, and antennas for transmitting data. Venera 3 was designed only to study the atmosphere, not to land softly, essentially another suicide mission. Unfortunately, it failed upon entering Venus's harsh atmosphere and transmitted no data. However, on March 1, 1966, Venera 3 became the first human-made object to impact the surface of another planet. In October 1967, Venera 4 achieved partial success. It confirmed that Venus's atmosphere contained mostly carbon dioxide. Initially, the Soviets claimed that Venus's atmospheric pressure was 25 times greater than Earth's. They even claimed it had landed safely due to its parachute. Later, it was revealed that Venera 4 was crushed like a soda can by the extreme pressure before reaching the surface. Understanding this, the Soviets sent Venera 5 and 6 in 1969, designed to collect atmospheric data for about 50 minutes before being destroyed. Both probes were crushed within an hour. Then came Venera 7, built like a tank. It was extremely strong and heavy, designed simply to survive. Due to its heavy structure, fewer scientific instruments were included. During landing, a technical issue caused it to transmit only temperature data. From that alone, scientists deduced that Venus's surface pressure was 90 times Earth's, equivalent to being 1 km deep underwater. Its parachute tore, and it hit the surface at 17 meters per second. It survived but landed upside down, with its antenna facing downward. Despite weak signals, scientists managed to receive data. Venera 7 transmitted for 23 minutes from the surface, becoming the first probe to send signals from another planet's surface. The recorded temperature was 465 degrees C, twice the heat of a typical oven. Scientists also detected strong lateral movement during descent using Doppler shift. They calculated winds of 360 km/h, stronger than any storm on Earth. Venera 8 was more advanced. It included a gamma spectrometer to analyze soil and a light sensor. It landed during the daytime to measure light levels. Despite thick clouds, there was enough light on Venus's surface to see, similar to a cloudy day on Earth. It operated for 60 minutes under extreme conditions. Venera 9 to 12 marked both great success and misfortune. These were 5-ton UFO-shaped landers with crush rings and aerobrakes. For the first time, they carried cameras, 2 each for a 360-degree view. But disaster struck. The lens caps failed to open. Venera 9 and 10 managed to open only one camera lens. Venera 11 and 12 survived 110 minutes but failed to send any images because both lens caps remained closed. On October 2, 1975, Venera 9 sent the first-ever image from another planet's surface. The world saw a rocky, hostile landscape, not a sandy desert but sharp stones scattered everywhere. Then came Venera 13 and 14, the golden era of Soviet Venus exploration. These probes carried cameras, microphones, drills, and seismometers. For the first time, sounds from another planet were recorded, Venusian winds and thunder. Venera 13 sent the first color images of Venus, showing an orange sky and brownish ground. But Venera 14 made a strange mistake. It had a spring-loaded arm to test soil hardness. Unfortunately, a lens cap landed exactly where the tester arm was supposed to press. Instead of testing Venus's soil, it measured the hardness of its own lens cap, wasting millions of dollars due to a small piece of hardware. Finally, Venera 15 and 16 changed strategy. Instead of landing, they orbited Venus for 8 months. Equipped with synthetic aperture radar, they mapped the surface through thick clouds. They revealed mountains 88 km high and thousands of kilometers-long cracks. Because of these Soviet missions, we now know that Venus is incredibly hot, with pressure 90 times Earth's, an atmosphere rich in carbon dioxide, clouds of sulfuric acid, and constant storm-like winds over a rocky surface. Although America labeled the Venera missions as failures, they revealed Venus's terrifying truth. So many Soviet missions went there, some secret, some public, that some people still call Venus the Soviet planet. Many valleys and craters even have Russian names. To speech.